What if you wake up in 1923 with no name, no allies, and enemies who already know your face? You have 48 hours to disappear into plain sight. One wrong word and you're finished. Somewhere down the hall, a man is sharpening something that isn't a pencil. You don't know this city, but this city already knows you're lost. And in 1923, lost is just another word for target. Here is the thing Machiavelli understood 4 centuries before this moment. Your enemies don't need weapons if you keep handing them information. He wrote it plainly in The Prince, and almost nobody listened. Men are so simple, he said, and so subject to present necessities, that he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. You are not going to be that someone. But first, you need to learn how to vanish while standing perfectly still. The 7 tactical ways to mask your true motives through calculated vagueness. 1. Speak in ranges, never absolutes. The moment you say exactly what you want, you've handed your rival a negotiating ceiling. Machiavelli knew this. He never advised his prince to declare full ambition up front. Instead, suggest direction without destination. I've been considering a few options in this district. Tell someone you're interested without telling them how desperate, how funded, or how soon you intend to move. They fill the gap with their own assumptions, and assumptions are almost always wrong in your favor. 2. Weaponize the pause Berlin. 1923. A man slides a contract across a table and watches your face. What you do in the next 3 seconds determines everything. Amateurs react. They lean forward or pull back or let something flicker across their eyes. Instead, you pick up the document slowly. You read a paragraph you've already memorized. Then you set it down and look at a point just past his shoulder, as if you're calculating something he isn't privy to. Silence, Machiavelli argued, is the prince's most underused weapon. A man who never rushes to respond is a man who appears to have options. Options are power. Make them wonder what you are weighing. 3. Agree without committing. That's worth considering. 4 words. They feel like a yes, they function like a maybe, and they legally mean absolutely nothing. This is not dishonesty. It's what Machiavelli called the lion and the fox working together. The fox does not fight the trap directly. The fox acknowledges the trap, compliments the craftsman, and finds another path entirely. Let your rivals believe momentum is building in their direction. Momentum they believe in is momentum they stop fighting. 4. Ask questions that reveal their hand, not yours. Every question you answer is a door you open into your interior. Stop answering. Start asking. What's drawing you toward that timeline? How are others in your circle approaching this? These sound collaborative. They are actually intelligence operations. By 1923 standards, the man who controls the questions controls the conversation, and the man who controls the conversation controls the room. Machiavelli was direct about this. Know your enemy's desires before he knows yours, and you will always be one move ahead. 5. Let rumors do your positioning. You don't need to announce your reputation. You need to seed it carefully and let it travel without your fingerprints. In Chicago, in Istanbul, in any city where power runs through whisper networks, what people believe about you is more actionable than what is actually true. Machiavelli put it this way: it is not necessary to have all the virtues, but it is very necessary to appear to have them. Let a story breathe in the right room. Never confirm, never deny, just exist at the center of enough interesting speculation that your enemies spend their energy guessing instead of moving. 6. Separate your presence from your purpose. You are seen at 3 different meetings this week. One is about shipping routes. One is about a property dispute near the docks. One is a dinner that looks entirely social. Nobody watching you can stitch these appearances into a coherent pattern, because the pattern only resolves from an angle nobody has access to yet. Machiavelli called this the art of appearing necessary without appearing predictable. Be everywhere relevant. Be readable nowhere. The man whose purpose is obvious is the man who can be blocked. The man whose purpose is obscure cannot be blocked because nobody knows which door to close. 7. Reveal one true thing strategically. This is the most dangerous move and the most effective. Once at exactly the right moment, you tell someone something real, something small but verifiable, a genuine concern, a real timeline, an honest preference. It feels like vulnerability. What it actually does is calibrate their trust meter so high that everything else you say, the vague, the incomplete, the deliberately foggy, gets processed as equally honest. Machiavelli understood that the most convincing deceiver is the one who is not always deceiving. Authenticity, deployed surgically, is the sharpest instrument in the fog. By the end of the month, your rival meets you at that bar. He leans close and says he thinks the 2 of you should talk. You sip your drink. You look at the bottles on the shelf for a moment. About what? You say. He blinks. Because he has been preparing for a conversation built on assumptions, and those assumptions are suddenly hollow. He came with leverage. He can no longer find the edge to apply it to. You have deployed all 7, not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently, the way a river doesn't announce that it's carving a canyon. Machiavelli wrote The Prince as a survival manual, not a philosophy text. He was describing the world as it actually operated, not as people wished it would. And in 1923, the world operates exactly the way he described it. Your enemies are not smarter than you. They are just less disciplined about what they reveal. Fix that, and you don't just survive 1923. You own it.